jury selection is set to begin in the civil lawsuit brought on by magazine columnist Carroll, accusing former President Trump of raping her nearly 30 years ago.
Carroll says the former president followed her into a dressing room where he assaulted her. She says she chose not to go public with the incident out of fear that her reputation would be ruined. Carroll first came forward with the accusations in 2019 as part of her memoir. Trump denies all allegations, saying he never met Carroll in his life. Now, keep in mind, this is a civil suit, so the former president would not face any prison time if he's found liable in this case. But this lawsuit is one of several cases plaguing Trump as he continues his 2024 presidential campaign. It's also the third time this month that Trump will be involved in New York legal proceedings.
Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos for more on this. Danny, good morning. This case is coming just weeks after the former president was indicted here in New York for those alleged hush money payments against Stormy Daniels. His legal team argued that he wouldn't be able to get a fair trial here. The judge disagreed. Help us understand how this jury process helps weed out anyone who might be biased, and is it possible for him to get a fair trial here in New York?
If we're talking about the Jean Carroll civil lawsuit, that's in federal court where the judge does most of the jury selection. New York is very different in state court. New York state jury selection is almost like the lawyers have a conversation with the jury, and we use that opportunity to crowbar in as much of our theory of the case and get as many jurors as we can on our side. Whereas in federal court, there's none of that. The judge does most of the selecting for you. They handle the questioning, everything else. But whether it's a civil case or a criminal case, there is an argument to be made, at least in the state court case, that here in New York County, which is Manhattan, that Trump will not get the trial that he wants. I'm not going to go so far as to say he won't get a fair trial, because the standard for a fair trial is not whether or not you've ever heard of Trump or whether you even have opinions about him. It's whether or not, given your opinions about this defendant, can you set them aside and judge the facts fairly and impartially. But by the way, in the Southern District of New York, the federal court, the jury pool is much larger. It draws from a bigger geographic area. So then you might actually get folks who are favorable to Trump as you start getting into the suburbs.
Do you expect either Trump or Carroll to testify in this case? I mean, does Trump even need to be present in this trial?
Very different rules for civil cases. In a criminal case, the defendant has to be there. That's not the case in a civil matter. Whereas in criminal court, you can draw no negative inference about the defendant's silence. In civil court, if a defendant doesn't show up, the jury can recognize that, draw whatever inference that they want to. The plaintiff doesn't have to show. Sometimes it's a good idea to not have the plaintiff in court every day. But in this case, Carroll's indicated she's going to be there every single day. Now, the jury may see that as maybe a little aggressive. It's hard to say. It's all astrology when it comes to figuring out how you're going to present your case. But Trump, I don't think, will be there. My theory is this. He doesn't have to be there. Whatever he gets hit for in this case, he can deal with. It's a far greater risk for him to get on the stand and actually testify. Too much of an X factor. The alternative is they'll simply read into the record his deposition transcripts. And since those are completed, we already know the universe that's in there. Much less risk for Trump to have it go down that way.
And speaking of testifying, we know Carroll is one of several women who have accused Trump of sexual harassment or assault. Can any of those women testify on her behalf in this case?
The rules are really tight on this issue. Character evidence is normally completely inadmissible in a civil case. But if it's admitted for another purpose, it might be able to get around this rule. So you may see other folks testifying against Trump, but it's going to be very tightly regulated. The rules are very strict when it comes to that kind of character evidence or prior bad acts, especially in civil cases.
So we know that Trump has denied any wrongdoing in other lawsuits, other investigations. How does this case differ from all those other more criminal cases, and what is the end goal in a case like this?
It's a straight civil case, so the rules are completely different. We won't get to see it because it's in federal court. The burden of proof is lower. It is being called a civil rape case, which is correct, and that's mostly because the statute of limitations was reopened due to a New York statute that was passed that opened up a one-year window. So while it is being called a civil rape case, there are no criminal consequences, and in fact, there would really be no consequences for Trump, even if there was some kind of devastating testimony. There won't be any big surprises. We already know most of the testimony because in civil cases we have depositions. We don't have those in criminal cases, except I think in Florida they have them. But In civil cases, depositions let us know everything that's going to come up at trial. There are very few surprises at a civil trial because we have so much discovery. We have much less discovery in criminal cases, much more potential for a surprise there.
And our Law 101 recap: in criminal cases, it's beyond a reasonable doubt, but not here.
Preponderance of the evidence, which is, by the way, a little secret why, if there's a high-profile criminal case, the civil lawyers wait around until the end of that case because they'll scoop up all the evidence that was used to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt, and then all they have to do is get to preponderance of the evidence, which, in my view, is the only burden that can be expressed mathematically. It's more likely than not. Therefore, it must be 51% or 50.0000001, whatever, for all you math heads out there.
Whatever you like.
Whatever is more likely than not.
All right.
Danny Cevallos, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.